For a great old school college football game here on a wet, cold, rain, sleet, snow afternoon here in College Park. Maryland actually won the toss. They deferred. They want to be on defense first, but I'm sure they didn't want to have to kick the ball out of bounds and give good field position to Boston College, but that's exactly what happens here. And so the Boston College Eagles, who last week at Virginia Tech hung in against Virginia Tech in actuality, Chase Reddick,
kicking team, ball in place.
Chase Reddick had a very good first half, and BC led Virginia Tech, who was 12th in the BCS at that time. They led them by a score of 7-6. The game got away from Boston College in the second half.
See Reddick's numbers there. Those 6 interceptions have been a little bit of a cause concern. His decision making. Coach Spaziani told us that sometimes he's been real good and sometimes not so good. So they want him to work on his decision making. In these elements, this weather, I'm not sure how much passing will be done as regards that decision making.
Rolanden Finch is the running back. He went for 82 yards last week on 19 carries at Virginia Tech. That was one of the positives they took out of the game. And Reddick goes to the air, swings it out to Lars Anderson, the tight end, and Anderson across midfield, a pickup of 11 yards. And so Boston College, a nicely designed play to start things. Here's the offensive line, the Toyota starting lineup. This is an offensive line that has to give Reddick a little more time than they gave him last week against Virginia Tech. And a guy that's got to get open on the outside is Bobby Swigert. 16 catches in 2 games going into last week. He was shut out last week against the Hokies. 1st and 10 Boston College from the 47 of Maryland. Finch straight ahead, and he has a nice gain, 7 yards on the pickup. Mario Rowson made the stop. He's playing in place of the injured Kenny Tate. Maryland's defense, can they get pressure on Reddick? One thing's for sure, you'll see Joe Villano at the bottom of a lot of piles. He is the leading tackler for an interior defensive lineman in the country. Lauren Gorey playing well in the middle. Of course, Rowson is in for Kenny Tate. McDougal and Chisholm pretty good on the corners. Titus Till has had a very good freshman season at the safety spot. Finch off the left side, and behind that big offensive line, he's got himself a first down. You know what, partner? I think these game conditions are perfect for Coach Frank Spaziani. This is right up his alley, isn't it?
A defensive-minded guy. Spent a lot of the time on the defensive side of the ball before being elevated to the head coach there at BC. And I think you're right. This is the kind where you just buckle up the chin strap, know that the ball's probably going to stay on the ground. Rushing game is going to be very, very important, and just who can outwill the other.
Finch in the backfield. 1st and 10. Good drive so far from Boston College. Big hole. Finch across the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Another 10-yard gain and another open gash in the defense of Maryland.
Great lane opens here. Guard comes around. Actually, that's the tight end, Anderson, with a great downfield block, a missed tackle, and Finch right on the hip of Anderson. Finally brought down by Eric Franklin.
Bobby Vadaro out there as well, one of the guards, clearing the way. 5th play of the drive, and already Boston College is at the Maryland 25-yard line. Reddick has thrown it once. He's completed that one pass. Finch straight ahead. Another big hole, and he's inside the 20. Picks up the first down to the 18-yard line. Gorey and Rowson on the stop. In the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security. 16 times in, 9 touchdowns, and 4 field goals for Boston College.
And that TD to times in the red zone, Rich, 56%. Something that Coach Spaziani talked to us about. You want that up around 70%, settling too many times for field goal attempts once they get into the opponent's red zone.
2 tight ends set. Finch again, and he's throwing, he's in. Touchdown, Boston College. In 7 plays, length of the field, and they stick it in the end zone. And BC with a great start. Rolanden Finch picking up where he left off in the second half last week at Virginia Tech.
Everybody pulls to their left, and he finds a little crease, does Finch. The intermediate backers, linebackers for Maryland run out too quickly, and right up the gut he goes.
Nate Freeze with the extra point. These are not gimmies on a day like this. Clean snap and hold, and it's through. Impressive start for Boston College as the Eagles take a length of the field and lead at 7-0. Boston College on top. Thank you, Andre. As the Eagles get set to kick it off, there's the scoring drive. Landon Finch did most of the work in the 60 yards, and the sixth play was a touchdown run of 18 yards. He had 47 yards on that drive. Justice Pickett for Maryland at his 15-yard line, and Pickett, slow going, is out to the 27-yard line.
Keep your eye right here on the center for Boston College. You're going to see some great athleticism by Spiney right there, and then that crease gets open. What's the shortest distance between 2 points? A straight line, and that's exactly where Deuce went.
Deuce would be Landon Finch for the touchdown. Now let's see if Maryland can move the football, and it's redshirt sophomore C.J. Brown with David Meggett in the backfield. On the option, Brown's pitch dropped by Meggett, and Brown has to recover it.
This is a dimension that the Maryland offense has embraced when you've got Brown in there, the read option. The problem is it also forces you to put the ball in the air via pitches and handoffs, and sometimes, particularly in weather like this, it can get a little dicey.
You see Randy Edsall in his first year here at Maryland. Meggett, he has a hole, and David Meggett squirts across the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Down and about 5. Here's the Maryland offensive line. Pete White up front is getting the start in place of Andrew Ganella. Yet another big injury. Ganella, their best offensive lineman coming into the season. Matt Furstenberg at the tight end spot has caught 22 balls for Maryland. Third down, long 4, and Meggett's got the first down, cross the 45, out to the 47-yard line. Spencer Rossitano made the stop for Boston College.
Meggett shedded about 10 pounds in the offseason. He just runs right by a would-be tackler. That quickness is back in those legs. Went for 720 yards last year, coming up on 600 already this year.
This time it's Brown who keeps it, getting to the edge, and he's dragged down from behind after a gain of 16. Jim Noel made the stop for Boston College. And there's C.J. Brown, the redshirt sophomore. It was a game-time decision, we were told, between Danny O'Brien and Brown.
You see the completion percentage below 50. You see the yardage, but that's not where Brown can really hurt you. He can hurt you running the football.
Justice Pickett in the backfield, his first carry, and he's down to the 34-yard line. That's a gain of almost 5 yards. Boston College defensively, you got Max Holloway on one end. His dad, of course, a 3-time Pro Bowler in the NFL, Brian Holloway. Sean Duggan gets the start in Kevin Pierre-Louis's spot. Kevin Pierre-Louis, a fine linebacker, is out for this ball game as Pickett picks up the first down, and he's down to the 23-yard line of Boston College.
Well, so far, Rich, both of these teams have embraced the one if by land, two, we ain't going to do it. We're going to stay on land. Both teams rushing the football very effectively.
Only one pass has been thrown in this game. It was complete. Brown has not thrown it yet. And on 1st and 10 for the 22, Meggett left side. And Meggett is stopped right at the 20-yard line. Max Holloway at the bottom of the pile. Two guys who had fathers that played with distinguished careers in the NFL. David Meggett and Max Holloway.
When talking with Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator for Maryland, he described the BC defense as similar to Temple.
Now O'Brien to the air in a crowd and caught Quentin McCree short of the first down, just shy of the 15. It's a gain of 6. So O'Brien puts it up for the first time, and Maryland looking at their second third down opportunity on this drive. We're just underway. Boston College went 60 yards on their opening drive. Maryland, with Brown rolling, and his throw is bobbled and dropped and incomplete. Matt Furstenberg, the intended receiver. Now what does Maryland do here on 4th down and 4? Field goals as I mentioned with the extra points, are not gimmies. We watched both field goal units work before the game, and there were a lot of drop snaps, a lot of shanked kicks.
And right now it's not so much the moisture or whether the ball is wet, but it is the footing, particularly the plant foot of the place kicker Ferrara.
Well, Nick Ferrara has been accurate this year. This from 33 yards out. And his kick is up and good. Both teams came into this ball game feeling they had something to prove, and both teams score on their opening drives. Boston College up 7-3.
It's a little bit calm right now and not as much precipitation coming down, but about 30 minutes before kickoff, I thought I was in Colorado or somewhere.
I'll tell you what, though, the conditions favoring both offenses as Spiffy Evans is backed up to his goal line. Evans starts to the right side, and he's cut right there at the 18-yard line. Let's go down to the field and Jen Hildreth. Jen.
Rich, you guys want to know how the field's holding up? The precipitation has slowed down, but the problem is what was here before. Not only do you worry about slipping, but you worry about sticking. There's a lot of clay in this soil. It's just what's native to this area. So if you stick, you try to cut, there's a chance your foot stays and doesn't move with you. Those are the two things you really need to kind of think about if you're out there in this mess.
And Jen, they're going to replace this field next year, aren't they?
They're hoping to. They're trying to. There've been talks about putting some field turf in.
Yeah, well, this would be a great day to think about that. Let's see how Boston College responds now at their own 18-yard line. Finch, the feature back on that first drive, totes the football out to the 23-yard line. It's a gain of 4. These two teams combined for a total of 118 yards, 100 of them on the ground in their first 2 drives. It's pretty impressive stuff.
And both of these clubs, as we talked about in the open, needing a win to try to salvage something out of a very disappointing year. And they're playing with a lot of attitude right now.
Chase Reddick, a California quarterback, playing in the cold and the rain here in Maryland. Finch trying to cut back, and he's swallowed up. Now, the first drive for Boston College started at their own 40-yard line, and it was precision-type stuff.
Well, they ate up a lot of the ground, the yardage on the ground. 6 plays in the total drive, 5 of them going on the ground, and of course Finch finishing it off with that 18-yard touchdown gallop.
Reddick did throw a pass and completed it for 13 yards. He may have to throw it here on 3rd down and 5. There's Finch's day already. Reddick in the shotgun, has time, swing pass. Finch is caught and dropped. Cameron Chisholm on the corner came up to make the hit.
And a great open field tackle by Chisholm. 40 stops on the year coming into it. Darren Drakeforth was over there to help as well, but they forced Boston College into their first punt situation.
Luke Kuechly. Ronnie Tyler is deep. Tony Logan, the fine punt returner, is dinged up for Maryland. And it's going to land and roll close down to the 40-yard line, and that's where Boston College will down at 35 yards on the kick. Maryland gets the football when we return to College Park. Here on as well.
And that's what I'm doing. You just can't see me doing it.
It's a good thing, too. Ball at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Shotgun for Maryland. And David Meggett out to the 45-yard line, a 5-yard pickup. There's a look at C.J. Brown, the redshirt sophomore. Of course, Danny O'Brien had the terrific freshman year last year. This year didn't have the same supporting cast around him and at times struggled. Brown got a chance to play. Ball's in the air, and it's caught and intercepted. That's Sean Sylvia, who shoved the receiver out of the way, then made the catch. Max Holloway with the deflection. But what an instinctive play by the redshirt freshman, Sean Sylvia.
And Brown pulls this ball down and then goes back up again. And again, watch Sylvia just put, you see, there's no such thing as pass interference once that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. You knock anybody down. Holloway gets the tip right there, and then Sylvia just pushes an intended Maryland receiver out of the way. First pick on the year for the redshirt freshman out of Dartmouth, Mass.
And let's see, Boston College now at the 25-yard line. Andre Williams in for his first series at tailback for the Eagles, and Williams cuts back. He was hit initially by Lauren Gorey. Drags Gorey down to the 21-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
And obviously we're seeing Andre Williams and Rolanda Finch. Remember, Montel Harris coming back off of knee surgery, re-injured himself. They're going to apply for a medical hardship, a medical red shirt for Montel. So both Finch and Williams seeing extended playing time during the year.
Harris, one of the better running backs in the ACC conference. And Taj Kimball may see some time back there as well. On second down, there's a handoff to Alex Amadon going up the right side, and he's in. Touchdown, Boston College. Amadon on a reverse. He was in motion. He got the handoff in full flight, and he had enough traction, Keith, to turn the corner and stay in bounds and stick it in.
In talking about Amadon, Dave Brock called him, the offensive coordinator called him a whirling dervish. Great blocking all down that side and great speed by Amadon as he turns that corner.
So Boston College turns a turnover into 6 points and now 7 points. A 14-3 lead for the Eagles. There's a look at Amadon.
He comes in motion, underneath handoff, and great job on the outside to seal everybody. Clear sailing for Amadon all the way for 6.
Boston College has come to College Park and put 14 points on the board. We've still got 6 minutes left in this first quarter. Last time they came here was in 2009. The Eagles had an early 7-3 lead. Dave Shinsky was actually playing quarterback. He threw a 66-yard touchdown pass. But it was Montel Harris, the guy that you were talking about, that they're missing right now. Harris had a terrific day, 142 yards, and Boston College beat Maryland 19-17. That's our Buick video vault. Frank Spaziani has not had a lot of things go right this year, especially injury-wise. Both of these coaches with young teams to start the season, and then they've both lost key veterans to injuries, which means the two deeps on both sides include 19 freshmen apiece. That's the most in the ACC.
And both of these coaches, Edsel and Coach Spaz, would prefer to redshirt most incoming freshmen. In these situations, given what's happened in the campaign of 2011, they've had to play those freshmen.
Snow starting to fall now here at College Park, and we're told more snow is on the way. Short kick, and Maryland has it out near midfield. A reminder, you've got a chance to win the Dave's Hot and Juicy Cheeseburgers Ultimate College Weekend from Wendy's. Text Wendy's to South. That's Wendy's to 76884 for a chance to win 4 tickets to a college football championship game in Atlanta or Charlotte. 2 nights hotel stay and a $500 gift card. Maryland with the football now. Brown still in at quarterback. Pickett up the middle, and he bounces over to the left side to the 49-yard line. It's a gain of 2. Luke Kuechly and Max Holloway made the stop. There's a look at Kuechly. We haven't said his name yet, but we will. He continues to lead the ACC and the country in tackles. Certainly a candidate for the Butkus Award. Second down and 7. Pickett. And again, it's Kuechly who swallows him up. And he had some help from Manny Asprilla. 4 tackles now already for Kuechly, who had only 19 last week.
Just must have taken the half off.
How did he not win linebacker of the week of the ACC? Did they just stop giving the award to him?
I think they name it the Kuechly Award now, so he's not eligible.
I think Sean Spence won it last week from Miami. A little skinny post over the middle, caught there by Ronnie Tyler, and he's got enough for the first down for Maryland. A good throw by C.J. Brown, and Maryland moves the sticks. They're into Boston College territory.
And again, you see Maryland in this hurry-up offense. They don't huddle. They get their signals in from the sideline.
And another ball batted down. This one, Brian Mahalik got a hand on it. And that'll bring up second down. Let's go down below to Jen Hildreth.
Yeah, Rich Kuechly definitely in the butt kiss conversation. In fact, the semifinalists for that award announced this week. 4 ACC players on the list. Kuechly, you'd have to think at the top of that list.
Sean Spence on that list as well from Miami. Illegal procedure. Flags.
Snap. False start. Offense. Number 73. 5-yard penalty.
On the field, and it's going to cost him 5 yards. In fact, today in this game, we've got 2 of the best tacklers in all of college football. Kuechly leads everybody, and of course linebackers, that's his spot. And on the other side of the ball, Joe Villano leads all interior linemen, as Wilson, or rather Brown, will keep it to the 41-yard line. Now, Joe Villano of Maryland is the leading tackler for a defensive lineman, and he does that from the inside. He's not a defensive end. And Kuechly, of course, does it for Boston College.
There's Joe.
Villano looking to get another chance to get out there. Boston College has already put 14 points on the board. C.J. Brown up into the pocket, scrambling and throwing on the run. Another tip ball, but this one is caught. Marcus Leak. And he couldn't hold it. It's incomplete. Somebody got another hand on that football.
Nice job by Brown to move around in the pocket. They'd like for him, candidly, Rich, to stay in that pocket a little bit more and throw the ball. As you mentioned, the ball tipped. Leak unable to hold it on the outside.
There was Steele DeVito who got a hand on it. Came right into your picture. So Maryland in a punt formation at the Boston College 41, a real spread punt formation, and a high snap. That was almost a disaster. Ferrara made a nice catch, and his kick gets into the end zone. It's a 42-yard punt, but Ferrara did a nice job to keep that football from rolling deep into his own territory.
Every exchange in weather like this is difficult, particularly cold with the combination of wet. That ball gets hard, it gets slippery because of the precipitation, and whether you're centering the ball, a center exchange, throwing the ball, a handoff, a pitch, every exchange becomes an adventure.
All that being said, we still have had 172 yards of total offense in this football game so far, with Boston College doing a lot of that work, and it's Orlandon Finch. Finch closing in on 60 yards on the ground. He's been the feature back, the sophomore out of New Albany, Indiana.
And 92 yards in that ball game against Virginia Tech did Finch.
Yeah, we watched that game. We did that game, and Boston College played better than the final score of that game, which was 30-14. Finch, this time, nowhere to go. He's hit the line of scrimmage. Maurice Hampton made a nice tackle. Let's go back down to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Rich, I talked to Orlandon Finch this week, and it's funny, he's known as what we saw in that touchdown run earlier, going right up the gut, a hard runner up the middle. And he told me when he was little, he used to try to sneak around the outside and go around the corner. And it was his dad, who also played running back in college, who said, "Come on, son, you need to lower the pads and run hard." Apparently he listened to Pops.
And Jen, that was the difference against Virginia Tech. I remember Frank Spaziani telling you that going in at halftime, that was an adjustment he needed to make, and he certainly made it. Boston College is going to call a timeout here.
Timeout, Boston College, first charge timeout.
On a 3rd down and 5, Boston College with the lead and the ball. Frank Spaziani all bundled up. Kind of tough to hear those headphones with a hat and a hood on. So here we've got snow and rain and wind. Nick, if it snows down there, I'm moving. Virginia Tech a 14-10 lead over Duke. That's getting late in the 4th quarter. Blue Devils playing well at home against the Hokies. Hokies come in still 12th in the BCS. They're your 3rd down conversions on the season. Not the best for Boston College, but it's been an issue for the Maryland defense.
53% opponent conversion ratio on 3rd downs against this Terrapin defensive unit.
Finch in the backfield. Rettig Fires it out. Bobby Swigert's first catch, and he's right on the sticks as he slides out of bounds. Swigert was shut out last week against Virginia Tech. He dropped a couple of Reddick throws early in the game, so it's nice to see him make a catch here.
And this is a difficult throw. Doesn't pick up a lot of yardage, does enough for the first down, but you're throwing that ball laterally.
And there's another third down conversion against the Maryland defense. Todd Bradford, their defensive coordinator, told us that was something they needed to improve on and do it in a hurry. Finch had a nice convoy that shoved him ahead 3 yards to the 34-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
And you're seeing BC right now going with 2 and sometimes 3 tight ends. They're signaling to this Maryland defense that we're probably going to keep the ball on the ground, and we're probably going to come out right at you with it.
Reddick has not missed. He's 3 of 3 for 20 yards. Finch to the 37. Maurice Hampton made the stop. Short of the first down. 3rd down and 3 now for Boston College. If you've just joined us, yes, that's snow. And the field is very wet. It has rained for the last couple of days here in Maryland. It is a field that does not take moisture well at all. There's been a lot of talk of replacing the playing surface for next year. Remember, they had that torrential downpour against Miami in their win to open the season here against the Hurricanes. Finch straight up the gut at the 40, falls to the 41. I think he's got the first down. And another 3rd down conversion for Boston.
BC, Rich, has had trouble running the football. Of course, they've been behind in a lot of their games and had to throw it. They're averaging just 114 yards per contest. But this Maryland defense has been gashed on the ground. They're giving up 215 yards each outing. And right now, BC's taking advantage of that.
No place to hide from the elements here. Final seconds, first quarter. Boston College on the move. Finch cuts back, 45 to the 48. Another 7-yard pickup. Mario Rousen made the stop for the Maryland Terrapins. Rolandon Finch now closing in on 75 yards on the day on 13 carries. And Boston College is going to head to the second quarter with a 14-3 lead. An impressive start for the Eagles. The Sean Sylvia interception set it up for Frank Spaziani. That second touchdown. And right now the Eagles, this is their 8th play. They've moved it 30 yards in 4 minutes. Temperatures have dipped into the high 30s here. Wind chill into the 20s, and Finch is busted loose to the 35 and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Eric Franklin made the stop, and right now Rolandon Finch closing in on 100 yards.
Great job at the point of attack. Everybody with a hat on somebody else opens that crease up. Right, there's a block, there's another one, and then Finch accelerates through that crease for another double-digit gain.
Look at that. Already 120 yards on the ground, and Finch is at 95 yards already. On a reverse, this is the play in which they scored on. Alex Amadon knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Darren Drakeford made the stop.
Not to correct you, Rich, but this is similar to the one they scored on. This one went a little deeper, and that allowed the Maryland defense to get in pursuit at a little better angle and drive the carrier out of bounds before the big gain. Just another variation of trying to mix it up.
Hey, no offense taken. Just slap me next time. 2nd down and 4.
Somebody's knee brace came off.
Finch down to the 22-yard line. That may have been a hand warmer.
It might be, you're right. Can they bring it up here, please?
Both teams are equipped with those hand warmers. They are like belts with the little warmers. You have the warming packets that can go in them. Boston College, to get ready for this, they knew what the forecast was. They knew what the field was going to be like. On Thursday, Coach Spaziani had them out in the mud. They practiced all day Thursday in the mud and the wet. And according to the Boston College coaches and players, had a great old time. On 1st and 10, Reddick, lots of time to the corner. Larmon, the intended receiver, and it was a little too strong for the junior out of Whippany, New Jersey.
Nice job that time by Reddick. Knew he had time. Protection was good. Let this route develop. Threw it, as you mentioned, just a little too far out, but great patience to allow Larmon to finish his route and very nearly stick it in the end zone.
Reddick now 3 of 4 for 20 yards. 2nd down and 10.
Every time they're in this formation, they like to go away from it. They do it again.
And Finch finds some room, spins across the 15, and he gets inside the 14 to the 13. He needed to get to the 12 for the 1st down. Titus Till made the stop, but Boston College now with a very manageable 3rd down and a yard.
And what kind of confidence does Dave Brock have in this running game? 2nd and long, and they keep it on the ground and drive into the red zone.
2 of 3 on 3rd down for Boston College, and this a 3rd and 1.
Again, every time they're in this formation, they like to go away. Let's see if it holds. Nope, this time right up the middle.
But he busts it back away, and he gets the 1st down. And that's, you know, in talking to the Boston College coaches, the biggest adjustment they made against Virginia Tech was reading the blocking and making the cuts. Both Andre Williams and Finch did not do it in the 1st half. But in the 2nd half, once they made that adjustment, they got big yardage, and they're getting it here again.
And again, what they're talking about is literally what we used to call the cut back. You're going one way, reverse it back the other way. Oftentimes that'll get you into trouble, but given the way the game is running, that's where the creases are, and the big gains result from it.
Randy Edsall can only watch a 13-play drive that has arrived at the Maryland 5. Finch hesitating, falls over left tackle. Darren Drakeford made the stop. It's a gain of 3. 2nd down and goal.
Not a very complicated attack right this second.
Can you get complicated on a field like this?
Not so much, although I will tell you, as strange as it may sound, the offensive have the advantage in this because defensive people have to react, and that's when you lose your footing. Offensive people know where they're going.
It certainly has looked like it with Boston College on the move. Finch now 118 yards. He's out of the game. Williams is behind Reddick as the snow continues to fall. Reddick to the end zone. Back of the end zone, incomplete. He had his man there, Jonathan Coleman, but he ran out of room and ends up in the mud, and it's 3rd and goal from the 3.
When they go back and look at this on the tape, Reddick will be the one that gets graded down on this. He needed to throw the ball either a little quicker or a little lower. He just led too far down the field, if you will, and not get a foot down.
3rd and goal. Andre Williams still in the backfield. And he gets it. He's in. Touchdown. Boston College has 3 touchdowns already in this one. An impressive drive and a 20-3 lead.
Little counter action, and it was wide open. Rich, even myself and I could have gotten through that hole.
Well, you needed the blocking of Bobby Vidaro, Mark Spinney, Ian White, Emmett Cleary, and John Wetzel, the offensive line of Boston College. And then, yes, I do believe you could have scored. But you needed those 5 guys up front to get you in. And they've had a great day so far. 21-3.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of not getting the wins. And you get a sense right now this Eagle team finally showing it on the field a little.
Well, Jen, I think if you're Maryland, obviously you got to shake yourself a little. And Randy Edsall has put Danny O'Brien in the lineup. So C.J. Brown is quarterback so far. Here's O'Brien. And these certainly not easy conditions that he comes into with blowing sideways snow. 61% completion percentage. Brown had his moments, but the BC defense has made some big plays, including an interception by Sean Sylvia, which set up a touchdown. O'Brien on the run, and he throws a bullet on the sidelines, and it's incomplete. Quentin McCree was the intended receiver, and Al Lewis Jean was there to knock him out of bounds.
Well, O'Brien, the passer of the duo. C.J. Brown much better on the ground. Danny, the ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, much better through the air.
You know, I think the one thing, though, that a lot of people don't realize that both Randy Edsall and Gary Croton told us is he's good outside the pocket. He can get out and throw on the run. O'Brien in trouble, escapes, now throws to the sideline. It's tipped and dropped and incomplete.
And that ball was a duck coming out of O'Brien's hand.
Marcus Leak was the intended receiver, and there's the escapability that they talked about, said that he could get outside the pocket.
And when he's in the pocket, he's very, very effective. Now, he doesn't have the same weapons this year as he had last year, but delivering the ball down the field is something that he is very good at doing, although that particular pass that we just saw in live action, it came out of his hand sideways almost.
Nick Ferrara, see the spread punt formation by Maryland, and Ferrara almost has it blocked. I don't see how it wasn't blocked. Swigert makes the fair catch. I'll tell you what, Manny Espria,
how'd he miss it?
I think he may have overrun it. He did. He blocked it behind. He kicked it behind him. That was before the snow started falling. Now the snow is falling, and BC is running, and it's Andre Williams who's got a 12-yard pickup. Boston College has just dominated this football game on the ground. They have 11 first downs already. A 21-3 lead. Well, Landon Finch is already over 100 yards. He's at 118. And Williams, with that run, now has 19 yards on 3 carries.
And all of that directly attributable to that offensive line.
It's 164 yards already on the ground for Boston College. Williams picks up maybe a yard. Here's a look at the big guys up front, what they've done so far.
And a lot of this running game has been north and south, in between the tackles. They've gotten outside successfully a couple of times, but they have gashed this Maryland defense right straight up the middle.
And it's a young offensive line. As you look across, Wetzel, Cleary.
Cleary's a junior.
Vidaro.
As is Wetzel.
Bobby Vidaro, redshirt freshman at guard. Ian White, a sophomore.
Old guy in the middle, though.
Yeah, Spenny is a senior. Williams, straight up the middle. Gets across midfield into Maryland territory, the 49-yard line. Lauren Gorey, the middle linebacker, made the stop. Another third down spot, and as we told you, Todd Bradford, the defensive coordinator for Maryland, said it's been an issue for Maryland all season long, stopping opponents on third down. And today, Boston College is 4 of 5 on third down. Let's see what they've got cooked up. It's third down and 6.
Keep your eye right here. See what Villano does.
Joe Villano, the great defensive tackle. Reddick has time. His slant pattern was behind Larmon and broken up. Cameron Chisholm, the senior out of Washington, came across and broke up the pass. And Boston College, for just the second time, is going to have to punt. Luke Kuechly into the ball game.
In games like these, Rich, first down almost becomes your third down. You run your downs in reverse, because if you can't get good yardage on first down, it makes it very difficult.
Ronnie Tyler is deep. Kuechly angles it towards the sideline. Tyler, a fair catch called for and made. And a face full of snow at the same time for Tyler. 21-3, Boston College. And 8:36 left in this first half. Danny O'Brien throws it away. It's Kuechly at the 30 who has the interception. Second pick by Boston College. They turned the last one into 7 points. C.J. Brown has thrown one, and now Danny O'Brien has thrown one.
Second pick on the year by my count for Kuechly. He starts right there, turns back inside, and O'Brien just doesn't get the ball high enough. You got to throw that ball over the linebacker and kind of teardrop it into the tight end.
Kuechly with 4 tackles and an interception. Sean Sylvia had the other pick. That Sylvia pick set up the touchdown run by Amadon. Where landed Finch. Another nice hole. And he's got a healthy 5-yard pickup. Let's go back down to Jen. Jen, you staying warm down there, by the way?
I'm trying. You see, I find the places to go. BC generating their own heat. That's good. This is what they've got going on. Both teams have these heaters. Maryland has the advantage of heated benches as well in their sideline. But that heater you're looking at, one of them actually went out on the Boston College sideline. They were trying to get it started last time I was over there. So as I said, good thing the Eagles generating a little heat of their own right now.
And the tough part, everybody, in this football game is that it was wet and now it's snowing, so it's a really damp snow, and it's Finch inside the 10. Doesn't seem to bother him. He lost the football. It's still loose, and Maryland has it at the 3. Well, Landon Finch with a big run, but as he came to earth, the ball came out. Alex Twine made the eventual recovery, but it probably changed hands 3 or 4 times once Finch coughed it up.
Well, here's the tail end of it. I thought the ball had come out when he hit the ground, but it clearly comes out before then. Larmon's in there, tries to pick it up. Alex Amadon, number 83, is in there, but ultimately Maryland ends up with it.
Mario Rowson forced the fumble. Meggett across the 15. David Meggett has a 13-yard pickup. Here's another look.
Here's a better look at it.
How many touches here?
There's the ball on the ground.
There's 2 players.
2 players.
3.
One digs it out
4.
there. Ball's continuing to go this way.
5.
There it is. Nobody want the pumpkin between the legs.
It's about 6 guys that had a shot at it.
Here we go.
Meggett bouncing it outside, and all of a sudden Maryland finding some room on the ground. David Meggett, the senior, Sean Sylvia made the stop.
I mentioned that he's about 10 pounds lighter. This is as quick as we've seen Meggett in a long, long time, even on this bad footing.
23 yards on the carry. Justice Pickett comes into the ball game to take over for Meggett after that run. And it's Pickett who tries the right side, but there's Kuechly to swallow him up and drop him at the 45-yard line. If you've just joined us, yes, it is snowing. We were told by a reliable ACC source that this is, in all likelihood, the first snow game in October in ACC history. O'Brien scrambling, gets outside, and he's got himself a first down. He's out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
And that goes back to what you talked about, that maybe a lot of people didn't know, ourselves included, is that Danny O'Brien can motor as well. He's just not known as a running quarterback.
Now there's LeBron James, Terry Bradshaw, and a few other signals. And I'm not sure what the play is, but it certainly is a colorful way to send your plays in. Justice Pickett with the carry. Let's go down to Jen. Jen?
Rich, I talked to Danny O'Brien's high school coach, Todd Willard, and he told me, you know what, Danny can run more than people can think. He actually had over 700 yards his senior year in high school, had a couple of 100-yard rushing games. So he has more mobility. He just prefers to use his arm in general.
Well, and the system under Ralph Friedgen last year was more of a pocket system. The system this year that Randy Edsall has brought along with Gary Croton gets the quarterback and moves him around a little bit more. This is going nowhere. Kuechly blows it up in the backfield, and Quentin McCree is going to lose about 6 yards.
That ball was centered too quick, Rich. You want this ball to be centered right as the runner is approaching the quarterback. Way too much time for the defense to react to it. You don't need to give Kuechly any advantages.
6 tackles now for Kuechly to go with an interception. And Maryland's drive has stalled a bit here at the Boston College 45. It's 3rd down and 15. O'Brien in the shotgun. This is his 2nd series. Steps up in the pocket, dumps it out. Meggett couldn't make the catch. It was a little high for him. Good pressure by Josh Keys.
And that was pressure brought by Boston College. They were rushing just 3.
So Maryland's drive, which featured Meggett and a little bit of O'Brien as well, is stopped cold at the 45-yard line.
Not a bad situation right here, Rich, to do something a little unorthodox.
Well, you see the punt formation is spread as they are. Ferrara drops it, picks it up, and gets it away. Remember, his last one was almost blocked. And Swigert makes a fair catch with some heat on him at the 11. Little weather here at College Park has made this one a fun one. College has thrived in this environment. Maybe it was that Thursday practice in the mud and the wet of Chestnut Hill. It's loose and Maryland has a shot at it. Who's got it? Maryland's 2nd fumble for Boston College. In fact, their last 2 plays have been fumbles. Cameron Chisholm, and it's Finch again who put it on the ground.
He runs right up the back of one of his linemen, and then it just kind of pops out of his arm right there.
And Chisholm ended up with a football.
Right there is actually caused by him riding on the back of that offensive lineman.
Well, let's see if Maryland can cash it in now. O'Brien drops the snap, and that play goes nowhere. We're really seeing the elements with the skill position players right now cause a lot of problems.
And to be fair, we would have expected to have seen this earlier in the ball game. They've done a good job up to this point protecting themselves.
This is Danny O'Brien's 3rd series. C.J. Brown started the game for Maryland at the quarterback spot. Combined, they've not thrown the ball well at all. Just 2 of 10. O'Brien rolling on 2nd down and long. He fires it to the sideline. Quentin McCree gains about 3 yards. This is going to bring up 3rd down and about 12 for Maryland. And Maryland just 2 of 6 on 3rd down in this ball game.
And they need to pick this up and or score, because a field goal really doesn't do them much good in this situation.
Bill McGovern's defense for Boston College trying to slow down this Maryland offense off a 2nd straight turnover for BC. This one deep in Boston College's own territory. O'Brien in the shotgun on 3rd and 12. Swing past Meggett, and he dropped that one. 4th down. And let's see if Maryland tries to get the 3 points. A little bit behind him, and Meggett couldn't bring it in.
And I think if Maryland had picked up a little bit of yardage here, they'd be much more inclined to think about going for it on 4th down.
Nick Ferrara has hit. You can see that Michael Tart, Tim Downs also important in this equation. The holder and the long snapper. Ferrara hit from 33, this from 34. And the kick, a low line drive, and he missed it. And that's why field goals, extra points, punts are not gimmies on a day like today in College Park, Maryland.
Let's see if he had good footing. Looks like he just stubs his toe into the ground. That certainly wasn't fluid.
He looked like as he turned to his holder and wasn't real happy with the hold.
Well, early on, the ball was on the ground, then they did a good job of holding on to it, but here of late, it's been all over the place.
Boston College now with 3:45 left. Andre Williams on the ground. Landon Finch has had a big day, 145 yards, but he fumbled on his last 2 carries. And so Williams gets this series, at least to start this series. 2nd down and 7. Chase Reddick hasn't had to throw the ball much at all. He's just 3 of 6. Williams nowhere to go. Keith Bowers there to make the stop. Lauren Gorey made the first hit on him. We check in with Jen Hildreth.
Well, as you can tell, very slippery out there. They did bring twice the amount of balls, 24 balls to this game. The guys are trying to keep him dry over here. They added extra people to come try to dry these balls off. They've been putting him in front of the heaters trying to keep him dry, but it's pretty much a losing battle out here. It is very wet.
And Jen, that's 24 for Maryland, right? Boston College. You can bring as many footballs as you want.
And that's more info than I've got. I know the Maryland side. That's right. 24 balls from Maryland, they told me they provided for this game. Whether that counts for both teams or just Maryland, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, each team brings their own balls, and if you're Maryland, all your balls are in the locker room. You can go get as many as you want. I think the typical allotment is somewhere around 12. But in situations like this,
12.
Yep.
9 to 12.
Yeah, situations like this, you want to use as many that haven't been out there as you can.
Hey, Jen, how's that heated bench working for Maryland down there, by the way? I know that's a popular spot.
Yeah, I really wanted to kind of sneak out there and sit on it, but I haven't done that yet. But, I mean, I put my hand on it, and it is something else. I tell you what, the guys get over here, and they just kind of, there's a sigh of relief as all the steam comes off of them, like, yes. But that may be why you see Boston College standing a little bit more. They don't have that on their side.
No, you're not required to supply it for both sides. But if you wanted to bring it with you, I guess you could. 3rd down and 10 now for Boston College. We're under 3 minutes left. First half. Screen pass set up. Reddick dumps it, and it's incomplete. He had a man out there. It was Finch, and Maurice Hampton hurried him. And so Maryland's going to get the football back. And it should be in good field position as the snow starts to come down even harder now.
Is it coming down harder, or is it just bigger flakes?
Well, it's not as sideways as it was about 10 minutes ago. Kuechly to punt. Ronnie Tyler back in Maryland territory. It's a good kick. I mean, a booming kick. Fair catch called for and made back at the 35-yard line. It's a 45-yard kick. Inclement weather. That's impressive stuff from the Boston College punter Ryan Kuechly.
And with that cold weather, those balls, it's like kicking a rock. Now, they get hard as they can be.
Not much has worked offensively for Randy Edsall and the Maryland Terrapins. If you're Gary Croton, where do you go from here in this final 2:44?
Well, right now, I don't do anything to hurt myself. Certainly don't want to lay the ball on the ground again.
O'Brien from the pocket, crossing pattern. Kenny Boykins makes the catch. He's going to pick up 6 yards before he's knocked down. Both teams have 2 timeouts left as we enter the final 2.5 minutes of the first half. A first half dominated by Boston College. Maryland has a field goal and a missed field goal. O'Brien fires it to the sidelines. McCree makes the catch, finds himself some room and spins across the 50 to the 49-yard line. And now Maryland has a little bit of rhythm on a couple completions from Danny O'Brien.
McCree with a huge game against Florida State, had 9 receptions for 177 yards against the Seminoles.
First and 10. Approaching 2 minutes. O'Brien, lots of time, dumps it out of the backfield. A sliding catch by Boykins. That's at the 45-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Well, I think we answered our question. Gary Croton said, we're just going to throw it. We're going to ignore the conditions.
They're throwing it short, and they're throwing it with success, although that one was dropped by Marcus Leak. Leak has not had a good day. He's had a couple of balls a couple that were tipped, but that one was a clear shot right to him that he's not been able to hold. Leak is a true freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Starting to see some increased playing time is Leak.
Now on 3rd down, O'Brien steps up, fires it over to the flats, and a good play. Pickett was trying to hold it, and coming up to get him was Donnie Fletcher. And let's see if Maryland goes for it here on 4th down and 5.
Looks downfield, steps up, throws the outlet. Just can't hang on.
The fans that have come out here and braved this weather are clamoring for the Terrapins to go for it. Randy Edsall calls a timeout to talk about it on 4th down and 5. The problem here is it's close to midfield. If you don't get it, there's a lot of time for Boston College. But of course, when you're 2 and 5 and you're going against a Boston College team that has just 1 win on the season, you might as well gamble.
What are the odds, and what is at stake? You're not going to lose much. You may have a great deal to gain.
And it's been a trying year for Randy Edsall. We told you, a young team that has lost some veterans in terms of injuries. They have 19 freshmen on their 2 deeps. They and Boston College both with 19 freshmen on the 2 deeps, the 2 youngest teams in the ACC. And when you lose the likes of a Kevin Dorsey, Andrew Ganella, a Kenny Tate,
Matt Robinson,
all guys that were supposed to be big-time players, and you're in sort of a rebuilding type mode with young players, it can really hurt. So here's the 4th and 5. O'Brien in trouble, and he's dropped. Ball is loose. I think it's an incompletion. Max Holloway coming up, applying the pressure. And Boston College will get the football.
Just one-on-one blocking on the outside, and Holloway just dips that shoulder and continues to drive in, cuts that angle down, and gets right on O'Brien.
Now Boston College does have the football at their own 44-yard line. Chase Redding's got 1:24. But of course, he's got not only Maryland's defense, but also the elements. 2 timeouts at his disposal on 1st and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. Finch straight ahead across midfield to the 49-yard line. Eric Franklin made the stop. Is Boston College in a hurry-up mode, or are they going to huddle up?
They're not moving swiftly.
No, they're in the huddle and taking their time right now. With a 21-3 lead and a minute left in the first half. Finch again.
Look how many hands are on that football.
That'll stop the clock because he's got a 1st down. Oh, let's wait a minute on the spot. He had to get to the 46, and now they do stop the clock.
They're going to bring on the chains and give a little measurement here.
Frank Spaziani is upset. He felt the clock should have been stopped once the ball was down because it was that close to a 1st down. But they let about 10 seconds run off the clock while they eyeballed it. Snow in the northeast, and snow expected throughout the afternoon and into nighttime here in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. And of course, we can sit here and look at the snow and say what a great atmosphere this is for college football. But the working men and women of our ACC crew who are out in the elements are having to brave it and hang in there. And so far, I haven't seen a smudge on one lens. The audio is crisp and clear.
But I don't see anybody smiling.
You will when the game's over and everybody gets to hit. There you go. You're not even in the snow. Don't even wave. Redding fires it into the flats. Amadon with the catch, and he's to the 39-yard line.
BC will take a timeout here.
Left. Amadon, of course, scored on that reverse early in the first half.
the hardest adjustment in situations like this, what few, only a couple that I've been in, is when you go in at halftime and you have to convince yourself to come back out for the second half.
Now, Boston College has the football at the 40-yard line. Do you even figure in field goal range in these conditions, or are you thinking about, let's take a shot for the end zone?
I think you take a shot for the end zone because it's so easy for a bad snap, a place kick to be blocked, those types of things.
One more timeout for Boston College. 2nd down and 3 at the Maryland 39. You can see how well BC has protected Redding. He's one of the cleanest Eagles. Play action. Redding. They're going to take their shot, and he's going to the end zone. Amadon got turned around, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down. Cameron Chisholm was the cover man, and it was Larmond. They'll keep it on the ground. Finch is hit in the backfield and dropped. And with a 21-3 lead and 4th down coming up, BC is just going to let the clock run out and head to a much warmer locker room. Well, let's see. Now BC called the timeout. I believe BC called the timeout with 1 second left because they figure, you know what? It's 4th down. Let's just throw it into the end zone and see. Justice Pickett is deep as well for the Terps. So we had an entertaining first half, that's for sure. Ball squirted all over the place. Some interceptions, some fumbles, some weird snaps, and some good running by Boston College. And it's Pickett at the 4, and Pickett is hammered and dropped. That is Luke Kuechly on special teams. Put me in, coach. I don't care that I'm All-American linebacker. I want to be on the kickoff team.
You just don't see that happen very often, but we have seen so many things that Luke Kuechly's done that nothing surprises us much anymore.
There's your quarterback comparison. C.J. Brown and Danny O'Brien both threw interceptions. Both had their issues. O'Brien did not start the game. He came in relief, and he starts here in the 3rd quarter. Keith, do you have a feel to how Randy Edsall's going to use the quarterbacks from here on out? Is he going to stay with O'Brien?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do think that they will go back to try to establish that running game so that they can get a little bit of control. Time of possession very much in BC's favor in the first half.
Play action. O'Brien deep down the middle, and it's incomplete. A little late on that break for Maryland. Adrian Coxon. 3rd down and 8. It was raining all morning and getting colder and colder. The snow started just about the time the game started. That's fine with Luke Kuechly. He and the Eagles practiced in the rain and the cold and the mud on Thursday, getting ready for this one. Holloway rushing from the right side, flushes O'Brien up, and there's another drop. Megan has dropped 3 passes in this ball game.
And I didn't make the comment on the long pass, but I don't like those last 2 calls. You're right out of your own end zone in the shadow of your goalpost. Put the ball on the ground. Try to establish something on the ground. Instead, they go through the air on the last 2. They've got a punt.
And we've seen how difficult it is to catch the football right now, especially for Maryland. Maryland has almost had a couple of punts blocked as well. Ferrara has not had an easy time with the snaps. And he's in trouble, flushed. He'll kick it on the run. It's a line drive, and it may have hit a Boston College player. It's recovered by Maryland. It's a Maryland ball. So what looked like a near disaster for Maryland turns into a big play.
Not sure if that was designed to be a rugby-style punt. Ended up that way. But as often the times when those balls are kicked low and they start bouncing around, it is hard to get the attention of the receiving team personnel and have them turn around and find the ball.
Here's a look. I think it was Lauren Gorey, a linebacker, that fell on the ball. Good move by Ferrara to get loose.
Asparulla was right in there on top of him.
And this is one that may be reviewed and looked at. We'll take a look as well to see if it actually did hit someone. And so a minute into this third quarter, we've got our first review of the game.
Didn't appear to hit anybody in a white jersey from that angle. See where the ball comes in. There it is. Yep, right off the hill. He sure did. 89 right off the hill.
That's Mike Naples, a backup tight end. That last view clearly saw the ball hit the heel of Naples right at the 48 and then is pounced on at the 46. This is going to be Maryland's football and a big break for the Terps, who have been desperate for big breaks in this ballgame. They really haven't had many of them.
Sometimes you just got to be lucky.
Well, you credit Ferrara, though, for making an athletic play, the punter.
Yeah, but by the replay, it did not appear it was a design thing. He saw Asparulla on him, pulled it down, and sprinted to the outside. We're seeing more and more of those rugby-style kicks become the norm.
Well, one thing that allows is it allows time for the coverage team to get down into coverage, and especially a kicker who can hit it end over end. You're going to get the benefit of the roll right there off the heel.
Great camera work, guys, right there off of the heel.
The ruling on the field stands. The field microphone having some weather issues as well. So let's see if Maryland can take advantage of it. Frank Spaziani telling Jen Hildreth on the way into halftime that his team had to be focused a little more so and take care of the ball, even though they were up 21-3. And it's O'Brien right back at it at the Boston College 46-yard line. BC shows blitz, and here they come. Maggott runs right into the teeth of it. Sean Duggan along with Luke Kuechly there and makes the stop.
I don't know what a nose for a football looks like per se, but you can just take a shot of Kuechly's nose and it would suffice. Wherever the ball is, number 40 is going to be very, very close to it.
8 tackles, 1 interception for Kuechly so far. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9 for Maryland. Maggott, right side, has a hole, breaks another tackle. David Maggott down to the 25, and he's shoved out of bounds by DeVito at the 22-yard line.
Did a slip and slide break out over there? What was that?
That's David Maggott, who actually had success in the first half and has a nice run here.
Missed tackle right there, excuse me. And at the very tail end, Hampton Hughes with the miss. Watch the slide.
Nice sound effect. 94 yards now for Maggott on 11 carries. And Maggott again over the right side. He is short, but very, very strong and powerful. 5'9", 215 out of Clinton, Maryland.
Sierski out front, the fullback for Maryland, doing a good job of providing some personal protection for Maggott.
Maggott out of the ball game now. Justice Pickett in the eye behind Sierski, with O'Brien at the helm, and a ball at the 15-yard line of Boston College. Scrambling is O'Brien, buying time and space, and he throws it out of bounds. It's incomplete. Outside the tackle box, and he got it past, just past the line of scrimmage.
Smart play by O'Brien not to turn the ball over, not to make a mistake. Holloway and Edebali both pressuring him. He plays much older than a true sophomore because of that playing time he got last year.
And 10 starts last year. A terrific year last year. 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Third down short. Pickett hit, and that's a strong runner as he drags a couple of tacklers forward. Looks like he's just short of the first down.
It should be real close.
Kasim Edebali made the stop. Obviously, Maryland, who missed a field goal in the first half, in 4-down mode right now with this weather on 4th and short. DJ Adams is in the ball game. He's the deep back. Got 4th and a yard to go. O'Brien to Adams. He's hit. Bounces off the tackle. Has the first down.
Ball
on the floor. Maryland's got it. Quentin McCree. So a first down and a good heads-up play by the wide receiver McCree. DJ Adams, the initial carry.
Interesting substitution here, though, with DJ Adams because he hasn't carried the ball in this ball game. 4th down situation.
He is their short yard specialist. He has 19 carries, but he has scored 3 touchdowns. Now it's 1st and goal. Maryland on the move. Boston College with a turnover on special teams, giving Maryland great field position. And that's Megan. See, now Under Armour is going to have to design a uniform that sheds mud. So you can see the number on the back of Megan.
Either that or the numbers light up. They're fluorescent somehow.
Maryland, of course, famous for all the different combinations that Under Armour has provided them with. Megan and Pickett in the backfield. 2nd and goal. O'Brien, lots of time, scrambling for the sideline, and he'll dash out of bounds at the 9. Gain of maybe a yard. Kasim Edebali, the sophomore out of Germany, in pursuit.
They lined Meggett up in the fullback position. They ran him on a wheel route, but he wasn't open. And that's the reason why O'Brien had to pull it down and get what he could.
3rd down has not been kind to Maryland in this ballgame. They're just 2 of 10 on 3rd down. O'Brien, swing pass for Pickett, has the catch, but has no yards. And that's because Sean Duggan, who's done a nice job filling in for the injured Kevin Pierre-Louis, was there to make the stop. That's the strength of the defense for Boston College. Everybody knows about Luke Kuechly, but Pierre-Louis, when healthy, is a good player. Duggan's played well, and Steele DeVito on the other side.
Duggan from Cincinnati, a true freshman who is playing like he's a junior and been there a while.
Well, that's where Kuechly's from as well, so that's no coincidence that he's shown up here at Boston College. Ferrara now from 27 yards. He missed badly on a 34-yarder his last time out. Hit early from 33. This one hits the upright, bounces back. 3 times Maryland has settled for 3, and they have just the 1 field goal to show for it. That was a better kick, though, than the last one he missed, which was a hook job. 152 yards on the ground for this man in the ball game, Rolanden Finch, and he has a nice pickup of 15 yards. Finch had a big first half, but remember, he fumbled on consecutive carries near the end of the first half, and he got himself yanked from the ball game.
And again, right up the gut, as it were, in between the tackles. He does bounce it out once he gets to the 2nd level, does Finch.
167 yards on 25 carries. Remember earlier we showed you the highlights of Montel Harris going for, what was it, 141 yards back 2 years ago on this field. Boston College beat Maryland. Well, Finch right now has another big hole. This offensive line is absolutely dominating. Dexter McDougal made the stop.
And Finch is doing a great job once receiving the ball to make the first guy miss. Maryland's got a guy on the outside, the left side, and he just runs right by him, does Finch. And then just keeps driving and driving and driving.
Now, I know schools will, I guess, promote or suggest offensive lineman candidate of the week, offensive lineman of the week candidates.
They submit them into the conference office, yes.
Right. I think they should just
the line.
The entire offensive line for Boston College. That should be the nomination this week. Finch, right side, swallowed up by Maurice Hampton at the 49-yard line. And Finch obviously trying to hang on to the football in these spots.
28, Relive, Finch, the ball carrier.
But Boston College has impressively moved the football back out to midfield right now, eating up clock. Frank Spaziani looking for his first ACC win this year, his second win overall. There was the close loss to Northwestern, the heartbreaking loss to Duke on a missed field goal in the closing seconds. 182 yards, a career high for Rolandon Finch. Finch again up the middle, and he's caught and dropped from behind. Gain of 7. Darren Drakeford made the stop.
A situation here, Rich, where it's not so much about scheme, it's not about play calling. Right now, it just boils down to who wants it more. This is football in its simplest form.
And you get a sense that even if the field were pristine and it was 70 degrees right now, that Boston College would have the same game plan as they do right now.
That's who they are right now. They are a run between the tackles, run right at you offensive football team.
4 of 8 on third down are the Eagles. This is third and short. This is Finch. And he's close. Boy, he's planted right inside the 45 by Joe Villano.
I think they're going to mark him just a little bit short. Now you've got to make a decision if you're Coach Spaziani.
His offensive linemen are all saying, let's go for it.
Good initial surge, but he kind of gets caught up in the backwash, and then Villano, number 72, just kind of squiggles his way through there, which is hard to do when you're 300 pounds, I understand.
And it looks like Boston College is going to bring the punt team on. That's one of those where when Finch watches that on film, he's going to say, if I kept my head down and kept my feet churning, he'd have picked up the first down. Kuechly at his 40. It's easy to say from up here, though.
Kuechly with 14 of his 38 punts being downed inside the 20.
This a high spiral that's not going to be inside the 20. The question is it even inside the 30?
A little triangulation going on there.
They're going to mark it right at the 28-yard line. 21-3, Boston College. With the carry. And it's Danny O'Brien who pulled it and kept it. And he's across midfield all the way down to the 41-yard line.
And that's that running ability that really hasn't been on show here for a year and a half.
Bill McGovern, the defensive coordinator, said that's a ride and decide play by the quarterback. And there is Meggett. The quarterback rides the tailback and decides whether he wants to give it to him or keep it. That time he gave it to Meggett. And Boston College defended it well. It's 2nd down and 9. The snow has stopped. It snowed throughout the first half. Temperatures are still in the high 30s, low 40s. Wind chill down into the 20s here at College Park, Maryland. Boston College on the road built a 21-3 first half lead. They've held it here midway through the third. Danny O'Brien at the helm. Little screen pass out to McCree, and he bounced it. It's incomplete. C.J. Brown started at quarterback, and Brown did not have a good start. He was just 2 of 6. O'Brien hasn't been much better. It's not been a good day receiving-wise for Maryland. They've dropped some passes as well. 2 of 17, 24 yards. He's probably had 4 to 5 drops. Shotgun. O'Brien rolling, looking. Hit as he thrown, and a nice play coming over the middle. There's Kuechly, who's had another terrific day. If he's not an All-American, I'm not sure they should keep the award going. I mean, he's just had an incredible year.
And it's not a fluke. He led the nation in tackles last year. He was second in the nation in tackles as a freshman. So it's not like he's surprising anybody. He just is very, very consistent.
9 tackles, 1 interception, 1 tackle for a loss. It's a 4th down here, and Maryland's going to go for it. At the 41-yard line of Boston College. O'Brien back. His throw is incomplete. And O'Brien not real happy, signaling to his receiver. I think he's upset.
I think he was supposed to shorten that route or stop that route.
Adrian Coxon was the intended receiver. And there's O'Brien, 21-3. Boston College holds and still leads it. And Boston College with good field position. Andre Williams in the backfield. This is Amadon around the right side. They'd like to get him in motion and then give him the football. He scored on a play like that in the first half. And he has a nice pickup there. Titus Till and Dexter McDougal double teamed him for the tackle for Maryland. Chase Rettig threw an interception, but that was on a Hail Mary throw at the end of the first half. He's 4 of 10 in this ball game for just 27 yards. But of course, his team has run for 250 yards. So he hasn't needed to throw for a lot. Naples in motion. Williams the carry. Look at the hole. No one touched him for the first 9 yards of that carry. Going over the left side behind John Wetzel, Bobby Vardaro. Man, this offensive line has played well.
Very much so. We're going to ISO on Williams and watch. There's not going to be any Maryland players come until, as you called, 8, 9, 10 yards down the field.
John Wetzel, the left tackle, had his man sealed, and that's what opened up the big hole. Second and short. On the floor, and it's picked up, and Rettig, I think, has got a first down. And Rettig did indeed pick up a first down. Joe Villano made the stop.
One of the things you tell your offensive skills folks, particularly here in the second half, ball security becomes that much more important, because you don't want to give a cheap touchdown on a fumble return or even an interception return that gets Maryland some momentum.
Jay Sinkovec is in the ball game, and he's in motion, the fullback spot. Williams left side. This time he has company, and Darren Drakeford is there to make the hit. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. The offensive line for Boston College has had quite a day.
Well, they haven't done anything terribly fancy. They have pulled around on some traps and things like that, but most importantly, they've been physical. A lot of these runs starting between the tackles, between the hashes. Ball carriers breaking them outside at the tail end, but they start right up the middle.
Emmett Cleary, the right tackle, helping up Ian White. 261 yards on the ground for Boston College. Williams bounces this one outside, and Maryland strings it out well.
The running play prior, Rich, Williams was too impatient. He didn't stutter step and let the offensive lineman get ahead of him. That time, a better job of just letting the play develop and not trying to make or force something to happen. A better game.
But not an easy down in these conditions. 3rd down and 7. BC's 4 of 9 on 3rd down. You can see Maryland struggles at 2 of 12. Dante Elliott has checked into the ball game along with Spiffy Evans at the wide receiver spot on a draw, and that one's not going to get it done. Andre Williams, and this brings up an interesting decision. It's going to be 4th down and about 5. It's a 47-yard field goal, but that may be a pipe dream in these conditions.
Well, and not only that, if you punt the ball and the ball goes into the end zone, you're going to net about 9 yards.
So it looks like Boston College actually going to go for this. Ball at the 29-yard line. Randy Edsall of Maryland, Frank Spaziani across the way. Two coaches in very similar spots right now with the young teams racked by injuries, just looking for something good to happen. On 4th and 4. Reddick swings it out. That's a nice play. Finch dances, and it looks like he got the first down. The Boston College coach is running up to help the official with the spot, and credit Finch. He had to get some momentum to get to the edge, but then stay on the edge to keep the first down.
A ballet class broke out in the middle of a football game.
Wow.
Oh, he's short right there.
Yeah, but where's the ball while he's there? If the ball's forward of his foot.
You are correct. You are correct.
He's got the first down.
But a lot of times they'll mark it on that foot. Good, bad, or indifferent. 17th first down by Boston College.
This time it's Finch.
Now we got a flag.
We haven't had many penalty flags in this.
Just one penalty in the first half that I recall.
But this one is sitting at the 24-yard line.
'62, 10 yards from the previous plot. Replay the down.
That's Ian White, the sophomore. Here's a look at that Finch run.
I've just seen it so many times where they've marked the ball where his foot is. Now they got a good spot.
$1:20 left, third quarter. Landon Finch has run for a career high 187 yards. That just the second penalty flag of the ball game. Reddick, give to Finch, busts it over the middle, breaks a couple tackles, and with hard work gets himself back inside the 24. Eric Franklin made the stop. That's an 11-yard pickup. Yeah, now Landon Finch is closing in on 200 yards. 199 for Finch on 30 carries. And you can see the clock rolling down. Play clock is at 14, so Boston College is going to run a play, at least a play here before the third quarter expires. Play action, Reddick rolling, waiting for help for a tight end to clear, and he threw it behind Chris Pantelli. Pantelli got caught up in the backwash level, and Reddick was waiting for him to come open.
And a dangerous pass because that ball can get tipped or hit up into the air and intercepted very easily.
Long third down coming up for BC here at the Maryland 23. It's been a fun ball game. Rich Waltz along with Keith Jones, Jen Hildreth down on the sideline. Thankfully for Jen, it's not snowing anymore, which it did the entire first half.
Have not seen Boston College use a screen. Last time they used a draw.
Got Williams in the backfield. It is a draw on third down. He's got big yardage, but not enough. To the 19. And this is a very similar fourth down that they picked up on the run by Finch.
And they're going to have time because the quarter will expire and they can decide what they want to do.
Of the Terps, and you can see fourth down and 4, and they're going to attempt the field goal. Nate Freeze is on. He is 9 of 12. This coming from 36 yards.
Pulled it.
And we've seen 3 missed field goals, and that's the first one that Freeze has attempted. So a nice drive of 10 plays and 40 yards, but no points for Boston College. O'Brien's throw down the left sideline is broken up. Quentin McCree was the intended receiver. Al Lewis Gene was the defender. Danny O'Brien still in at quarterback for the Maryland Terrapins. He took over for C.J. Brown midway through the first half.
Nothing fancy, the old fly route. Ball's underthrown severely.
It's been a miserable day weather-wise and for the quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. Both O'Brien and Brown have struggled, and Chase Reddick has not had the best of days either.
Boston College, first charge timeout.
O'Brien is now 5 of 20 for 24 yards and an interception. And Brown was just 2 of 6 for 14 yards. He had an interception. Jen Hildreth is down on the sideline. And it's been an interesting year, Jen, for both C.J. Brown and Danny O'Brien.
It has, and as you can imagine, Rich, it could be a difficult situation. Those two, I talked to them both this week, said they're both really good friends. They are rooting for one another. And, you know, I asked Danny, I said, you know, how have you kind of handled all of this? And he said, I know it's been tough at times, but I still have complete confidence in myself. I feel like the guys have 100% confidence in me when I go out there. And, you know, I talked to Danny's high school coach this week, and he told me the one thing that stands out to him most about O'Brien is his determination. So he's going to need to call on some of those intangibles to get his team out of the hole in this game, Rich.
Jen and Keith, I think one of the variables that is different from last year when he threw 22 touchdowns, he does not have the same supporting cast. He doesn't have the talent on the outside.
Torrey Smith is gone. Adrian Cannon is gone.
Last year he could just get the ball out on a bubble screen or get it deep and guys would make plays. He has not had the best of protection as well.
Plus, this is a different system.
It is.
And he was very close to James Franklin, who was the offensive coordinator here, now the head coach at Vanderbilt. And it's just different. Doesn't mean it's good, bad. It's just different.
O'Brien, little dump pass. There have been a lot of balls like that, too. Just short little balls that are gimmies on a normal day that today have been dropped. Just about all of them have been dropped by Maryland.
It's not been for inaccurate throws. They have been behind sometimes, but they've been balls that should have been caught, could have been caught.
This is a day where if you're an offensive coordinator, Gary Croton for Maryland, Dave Brock for Boston College, it's hard to get real creative on this type of playing surface in these type of conditions. Ferrara gets a clean snap and gets the kick away. Fair catch called for and made at the 39 by Bobby Swigert, 21-3, Boston College. Upwards of 20 miles an hour. And they've seen Rolandon Finch tote the rock a lot, and Finch goes over 200 yards with that carry. 31 carries, around 202 yards now, a career high for the sophomore, Rolandon Finch.
266 yards rushing coming into the ball game. Montel Harris, the last to go above 200.
And they hope to have Montel Harris healthy and back next year. Finch at 202. Out of St. Xavier High School in Kentucky. Grew up in New Albany, Indiana. Done a nice job of reading that massive offensive line, and they essentially plow him with the football across the 50 and deliver him to the 49-yard line. I know that $2,000 stipend hasn't kicked in yet, but it kicked in this week. Finch might be taking those guys out to dinner tomorrow night. First and 10, Boston College running some clock, moving the sticks, and looking for win number 1 in the ACC.
And a little bit of momentum. They've had everything happen bad to them. They've lost close ball games. They've had injuries. They've had stars go out. A little something to get a spark to this 2011 season.
Well, Frank Spaziani told us this week he was very happy with the effort at Virginia Tech, a game in which they led at half 7-6.
Had a great drive going in the third quarter before they turned it over.
Yeah, they were down 13-7 when Reddick was hit on a throw and threw an interception inside the 10. And at times against Clemson, they played well. So, you know, if you could pick quarters out of those ball games and put them all together, you could have a real nice game. In this one, they came out and hit Maryland right in the teeth. And the Terps haven't been the same since. 21-3 Kuechly, and it's been 21-3 since BC scored on the 21-yard run back in the first half and the second quarter. 4 of 11 now on third down is Boston College. They're going to have another one here with a football at the Maryland 44-yard line.
Spending a lot of time in the huddle. I'm not sure just to run down the play clock or the game clock. I think there is some confusion.
They may burn the timeout here. So BC calls the timeout, and they'll talk over this third down and 5. I think the crowd is booing, number one, because Maryland's down, but number two, because they're cold, and they wanted to see that third down play. Busy day in the ACC already. We told you about Virginia Tech's win over Duke. Later on tonight, Clemson and Georgia Tech. And of course, Clemson's got that combo of Taj Boyd, Sammy Watkins. Defensively, they can do it as well. The Clemson Tigers right now, the top team in the ACC in terms of the BCS rankings, an all-time high of 5 right now. The Jamison Inn scoreboard around the league. Florida State's hot, their 3rd straight win. There's that scare on the road for Virginia Tech. They just get by Duke.
How about the Tar Heels?
Well, Wake Forest is coming back. Wake Forest was down big early in that game. And, of course, Clemson and Georgia Tech later on tonight. Here, Maryland and Boston College. It's been BC, and it's been BC on the ground. 298 yards on the ground. Finch,
wow.
Big hole, busts through. He's just caught at the 30, spills forward to the 28. Titus Till made the stop, and another gaping hole by that Boston College offensive line.
Watch this line. They pull a couple of different people, and then look at this lane.
Wow, that was Bobby Vadaro, the right guard, who simply hammered someone as he came down the line of scrimmage.
That's a clinic. Bump that one.
That's almost a decleater, and that's using the screw-in cleats for the mud.
Bump that one to the training wheel.
Finch, that's another 9 yards for Finch, who's well across the 200-yard barrier. Career day for Landon Finch.
Just keep moving and moving and moving. Called Deuce because he's named after his father, and the mom didn't want to have anything else to call, so he just called him Deuce.
239 yards on 36 carries.
And there's Joe
Villano. No defensive lineman in the country has made more tackles per game than Villano.
He's around, gets on the hip, and then cuts off the ball carrier.
A lot of the same characteristics that Luke Kuechly has in terms of instinct, temperament, relentlessness are all shared by Villano.
His dad was an All-American here at Maryland. Got Terrapin running through those blood veins.
3rd down and 2. Williams, he's hit, and he's short of the 1st down. Villano along with Lauren Gorey.
Working in there, keeping leverage, staying down, and then finding the ball carrier.
And grabbing a piece. Now, Boston College from this similar spot just missed a field goal. It looks like they're going to try another one. This will be a 36-yarder. Nate Freeze missed his last one. And they're going to spot it right at the 27, so call it a 37-yarder. And I'm not sure why everyone keeps trying field goals. because it's been a miserable day for the kickers. That's 4 misses, 4 bad misses. And the combination today is black and red and mud on a wet and cold day here in College Park. Danny O'Brien going deep down the right side, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Quentin McCree. Snowed throughout the first half. This is natural surface, and it's not a surface that drains quite well. We've been told that in all probability there will be a new surface, whether it's new grass with better drainage or field turf next year. Expect a new look here at the Capital One Field here at Maryland. O'Brien going to run and then dive down at the 23-yard line. Dominic Appiah was in pursuit. Approaching 8 minutes left in this ball game with Boston College on top, 21-3. Under Armour, of course, also outfitting our Jen Hildreth, thankfully, with a lot of cold weather gear. Nice pump fake. O'Brien to the sidelines, throws back, across, and a catch. Kuechly makes the stop, but not before Adrian Coxon makes the catch. It's a nice play by O'Brien.
Very much so. We've seen him roll that way and try to throw the ball back. That time he was on target, however.
Damon Meggett swallowed up by Appiah.
And wholesale changes on the Boston College defensive side with a lot of substitutes.
Yeah, and I know how you know that, because there's a lot of clean uniforms.
I can tell what number they are.
There are a lot of clean uniforms that just appeared on the Boston College side. O'Brien back, has time, little dump down route.
Just enough for the first down.
Kenny Boykins the carry. It's going to move the sticks. Jim Noel, who was questionable in this game, is down on the sideline. Noel, the junior out of Everett, Massachusetts. It was a game time decision, and the decision was good enough to play. And right now with 7:25 left, he sits and waits. You see the Maryland side, they've got the heated benches, along with the kind of the blowtorch heaters that are on both sidelines.
Mental note, we need blowtorch heaters up here.
Well, it's all a matter of planning. And Maryland had talked about getting ready for this weekend, and you're not required to provide the same amenities for the opposing team, but you can help. Boston College called Maryland, said, hey, can you direct us to some place that has those for rental? And so they rented some of the heaters on the Boston College sideline as well. But they just have the regular steel benches.
There they are.
The regular aluminum benches over there on the Boston College side, while the heated benches with little foot warmers are over on the Maryland side. First and 10. Meggett is sandwiched and to the 45-yard line. So you've got the little spots where you can put your feet in there.
If I could only put my feet in there.
99 yards now for Meggett on 17 carries. Meggett couldn't handle it, and it's incomplete. He ends up in a pile of mud. And you can see how it would be a tough day to catch the football. His arms and hands and uniform caked with mud. This one just popped right out.
That may look like fun, but I can assure you it's not.
Third down 11. 9 of 32. 2 interceptions, 62 yards total for both quarterbacks. O'Brien a near miss in the backfield, and a man open down the sidelines. It's caught there. It's Coxon. He's in. Touchdown.
No flags.
Adrian Coxon.
Pressure from BC. O'Brien's right. At the last minute, he steps aside. That was Asprilla on a corner blitz. Keeps those eyes downfield. And Maryland finally with a touchdown.
Freshman out of Baltimore with a touchdown catch. Extra point is good. And so Maryland making this a little interesting here. A scramble by O'Brien. And a 21-10 game now. Maryland. And they try it. It's loose and then smothered quickly. Nice job. Chris Pantelli, one of the tight ends. Smothered it quickly. There's a flag on the play, or at least, yeah, there is, right at the 40-yard line. If it's against Maryland, Boston College probably will decline and just take the football right there.
Personal foul, number 29, 15 yards, first down.
So a personal foul is going to put 15 yards, and all of a sudden, Frank Spaziani and Boston College are going to be inside the Maryland 30-yard line. Now remember, Boston College has missed, and missed badly, on 2 field goal attempts here in the second half. Is that the personal foul, the late hit?
Frankly, I didn't see where anything there would have elicited a flag.
26-yard line, and Boston College with the football. So the Eagles have missed a couple of field goals, and that's kept Maryland now within 11 points after scoring that touchdown. Finch right side, and there's nothing going there. Z-Max performance recap on this cold and wet Saturday here in Maryland. Finch has a career day of 238 yards, and David Mega is just a yard shy of 100. And had Maryland not been down 21-3 most of the way, Mega probably would have had more carries and obviously more yards.
And in a game that the weather conditions dictated a lot, particularly in the first half, you knew the running game was going to be prominent.
Snow flurries are starting again. Amadon, left side, has room, and another big pickup. And he's horse collared out of bounds, and that'll draw a couple of flags.
Watch the wall that gets created by the offensive line and the fullback. Just green space. Right there's the horse collar. Cameron Chisholm, I think, guilty of the penalty, and took our camera guy out as well.
So Boston College is going to have 1st and goal. They mark it inside the 4, close to the 3, right on the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for the 3. And with this offensive line, the way they've produced and pushed Maryland all over the field for 325 rushing yards, you would think this would be pretty simple for BC. We'll see. Finch, left side, falls in, touchdown. And fittingly, he wasn't touched the first 3 yards. He only got hit right at the goal line. Another great push by the offensive front of Boston College.
You know the only guys enjoying this, right? The Boston College offensive linemen. Everyone else right this second is miserable.
I don't know. I think Rolandon Finch is having a good time. I mean, he's at 243 yards now. And he's got 2 touchdowns. And now Boston College is comfortably back on top, 28-10.
Right up there and right in.
Finch having such a good day that he's the subject of our Coors Light freeze cam as well. 28-10 Boston College on top. There's a look at Finch. Of course, he's getting a chance to play because Montel Harris out.
And you can tell this was early in the ball game because you can tell what number he's wearing. Look at the move right there.
Now that's a great pose. Yeah, 243 yards later, 38 carries later, Finch is having quite a day. 2 touchdowns, 5:29 left.
And I don't mean to overstress the point, but right now Kuechly's going, do I really have to kick this rock? You could break a toe.
I think if you play for Boston College, I think weather like this is something you get used to. Justice Pickett out to the 33-yard line. Jen Hildreth.
Yes, that's right. I'm still down here, just in case you're wondering. You guys, I don't want to hear you talking about cold. Anyway, what I do want to talk about a guy that's name's become synonymous with Boston College, Mark Hurst, former Defensive Player of the Year, and then, of course, did so much to inspire people with his battle against cancer. And now with the New York Giants, came back, paid a visit to the team last week, and the message to the team was basically take ownership, no matter what it is, no matter how small it may seem. One tackle, get out there and take ownership of it. And finally, some good things going the way of the Eagles in this game.
David Maggott the catch, and Maggott gets out to the 38-yard line. And Jen, you know, that's the one thing, that the theme that we heard from both coaches this week is keep the message consistent on both sides, for Frank Spaziani and for Randy Edsall.
Yeah, and you know what, Rich, I think was really interesting. You know, Hurst talked about, hey, I'd like to be out there starting at linebacker for the Giants, but right now I'm on kick coverage, so I get down, try to put my name on that tackle. And you know what? Did you see Kuechly out there on the coverage team, trying to put his name on the tackle, and his name is everywhere. I think that speaks volumes to the type of mentality, exactly what Hurst was talking about.
Boston College, Randy Edsall trying to do the same. We've documented really on both sides of the ball the number of senior players and leaders that both teams have lost.
Well, and don't forget, Edsall, as a first-year coach, he had 12 players with eligibility remaining that chose to leave the program.
Quentin McCree, and McCree on the throw from O'Brien is out to the 45-yard line. First down for Maryland. They'll move the chains. Clock stops, 4:37 left. 14 yards on that catch.
Rich, this is all about character right here. What Edsall's looking for is who's going to continue to play for this Maryland program.
Good throw by O'Brien. Furstenberg, the tight end. We haven't called his number much in this one. Matt, the junior, making the catch. Clock runs, not enough for the first down. Second down and 3. Maryland down 28-10. In the cold, some snow, wet, muddy track. And all of a sudden, whatever adjustments they've made, Maryland is moving the ball as well as they have the entire game. Kenny Boykins the catch.
Well, 2 adjustments have been made. Number 1, they've gotten into a flow, and number 2, they're going against Boston College's 2s. But again, this is all about character. This is all about revealing character. You know, adversity doesn't create character, it just reveals it.
O'Brien steps up, and his throw is high and incomplete. Devin Burns, the intended receiver. Yeah, Boston College shuttling guys in and out right now. Frank Spaziani giving some of the two deeps a chance to play and maybe getting some fresh legs in there.
But guess who's still out there?
Number 40, Mr. Kuechly. On 2nd and 10, O'Brien's throw to the sideline. It's on the mark, and there for a first down. Coxon, who had the touchdown catch, And the freshman from Baltimore has had a nice day. Kuechly was over there. On this drive, Danny O'Brien is now 5 of 7. Wide open.
There's Furstenberg.
Again at the 7-yard line. O'Brien in rhythm, on the mark, and Maryland moving the ball. 6 of 8 on this drive. First and goal. Lob pass for the corner, deflected. It looked like Manny Esprilla got a hand on it. Quentin McCree was the intended receiver.
Coming right at you. Esprilla gets up. Looks like if he didn't get his hand on it, he's certainly shielded or distracted.
Second down goal from the 6. They'll keep it on the ground, and it's Pickett who's close. Now let's see if he's in. Officials racing to the spot.
They're saying no right now, early indication.
It'll bring up 3rd down and goal. A foot away. Maryland signaling that they want to play and they need to get it going quickly. It is a hurry-up offense by design, but they certainly aren't hurrying up right now. O'Brien keeps it over the left side, and I don't think he's in. He's not. 4th and goal from the 1.
Wow.
And I think the Terps are going to actually call a timeout here just to stop the clock, collect themselves, and then try to stick it in.
These types of plays are so difficult to determine. When did forward progress end? Where is the ball?
The ball right now is just shy of the goal line. They may review it.
We'll see, he gets turned.
And the ball is on the backside.
Is behind him, if you will.
If he was able to lead with the football, he may have been in. Here's a look from the goal line. And no way to conclusively tell.
Well, the ball, you see the ball's back here.
Yeah. And the officials had a pretty clean look at it. So this is now an official review. And the review is over. And the call stands. Or I guess is confirmed. The spot is confirmed. Is that the official way to say it?
I didn't hear him. I don't know.
Call stands. One of 3 on 4th down is Maryland. This is 4th and goal, 4th and inches. DJ Adams, the short yardage back, is behind O'Brien. And O'Brien going to keep it again. I don't know if he got in this time. There's the push. The pile is forward. They're looking. He's in. Touchdown. This time he led with the football, and he got a little bit of a push as well.
We're going to look right down that line. Goes up, then over, and then through.
Boy, he can thank DJ Adams for that.
Yep.
Had Adams not gotten a hold of him. Plus, if we could look at that same replay again, it looked like the official.
There was only one that was getting in there.
The official on the far side slipped and didn't have the cleanest of looks. But from Adams' help, it looked like O'Brien was in. this has been the day so far for Danny O'Brien. In the snow, threw a pick. Has not been great in terms of percentage, but has been able to get outside the box, make some plays. This was the long touchdown throw to Coxon.
And Maryland may have learned a little bit about how to utilize O'Brien, because to date, through a year and a half, not a lot of time running the ball. But he's shown that he is fairly efficient at doing so. There's the Terrapins' upcoming schedule.
At Virginia, then at Notre Dame.
3 in a row.
In fact, both of these teams have Notre Dame on their schedule. Boston College will visit South Bend. Also have to go down to South Beach. Well, not quite South Beach, but Miami Gardens to take on the Hurricanes. NC State and Florida State still have to come up to Chestnut Hill. All right, onside kick formation again. They tried it to that left side and didn't get it. This one popped up, and Pantelli got the first one, and he gets the second one.
He took it away from Kuechly.
See, it's fun to see an All-American like Kuechly in on the kickoff team and the kick return team, the hands team. You get big guys who can catch the ball, and you put them up there, and Pantelli has done it twice. There's Kuechly. I think if Kuechly had his way, he would be on the punt team, the punt return team,
I think
the field goal unit.
I think he'd show up early and fix popcorn. He'd stay late and clean up the stadium.
There's Kuechly with his 12 tackles.
30th consecutive game with double-digit tackles.
And now Boston College will run the football. Maryland's going to stop the clock. Andre Williams with the carry. Our Honda Generators power play of the game. Andre Williams over the right side. I know Williams and Finch are the guys that have scored the touchdowns. Amadon on a reverse. The Honda Generators power play of the game. But heck, give as much credit to the Boston College offensive line as you can in this one. A 349-yard rushing day. Kuechly and the BC defense have had their moments as well.
And I think a lot of why Boston College was successful running the ball was that they finally got a couple of 3 weeks where they've got the same 5 on their offensive line. They can get a little continuity, get a little used to each other as you see the upcoming schedule for BC. And I think when you look back on it, their ability to work out Thursday in the wet and the cold up at Chestnut Hill has ended up being a big benefit down here in College Park.
That was a good coaching decision to Thursday to say, boys, today we're going out in the mud and the wet, and we're going to have some fun. And that's where they practiced. And they've played like they are comfortable in these conditions here this afternoon. Maryland's going to call their last time out here in hopes that they're going to at least get the ball back and try to score again and have something miraculous happen.
Well, this isn't, in one sense, for Randy Edsall, again, Rich, repeating myself from earlier, this isn't so much about trying to win the ball game, but which of these kids are going to continue to fight and play hard when you know, the odds are seemingly insurmountable?
Well, for Maryland, when Edsall showed up on campus, not only was it a change at head coach, it was a change in offensive system, defensive system. And the Terps very young, had a very good recruiting class. They feel like they have another good class coming in. And as Edsall told us a month ago, it really is a process. It's not something that you come in and sprinkle pixie dust around and magically have a great team and a great program.
Eagles with nearly 3 times their season average in rushing yards.
BC will keep it on the ground. Busting loose is Williams, and Williams is down to the 14-yard line. He lost the stripe on his helmet, but not the football.
He just keeps moving his feet, and nobody gets a clear hold of him. There's that stripe sticking up in the air. And he just keeps turning and working and turning and working, and down the field he goes. Cameron Chisholm finally comes up to make the tackle.
That's quite a look. It's almost like he's got an antenna on his helmet. Clock approaching a minute left. And Boston College is simply going to take a knee here. Classy move rather than try to stick it in.
Well, these two squads play each other every year. So you're going to be in Chestnut Hill or College Park as it were every other year. And Coach Spaziani, despite all of the difficulty that this season has brought, has continued to work this club. The kids have continued to work themselves. The attitude has remained good.
And we've seen him. We saw him play a good first half at Clemson. We saw him play a very good first half at Virginia Tech their last game. And they come out here and put 4 solid quarters together. And Frank Spaziani has his first ACC win of the year, 2nd win overall. Another big day for Luke Kuechly and a terrific day for Rolando Finch, as Finch getting a career-high 39 carries, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it's a final on a snowy, cold, wet, miserable day for Boston College. A beautiful day